Has your account been limited by a bookmaker? It's not a coincidence. Bookmakers don't want you to win. They are designed so that you play, lose, and try again. If they see that you win too much, they limit your action. So today we're going to look at 7 key steps to delay as much as possible the restrictions that bookmakers impose on those who win consistently. And these are not just simple tips you can find anywhere. They are strategies we have tested thousands of times working with professional bettors and with users of BetOven's AI. Limitations in bookmakers can be as simple as reducing your bet limits, restricting markets, or totally blocking your account. We have a separate video where we explain this step by step. You'll find it in the description to watch at the end of this video. But first, let's go step by step on how to beat the bookies. Step 1. Warm up the account quietly. When you open a new account, don't barge in like a bull in a china shop. Start with a small deposit between 50 euros and 100 euros. Place 2 to 4 bets in very liquid markets with stakes of 1 euro to 5 euros. If you like, add a small and logical accumulator. Mistakes to avoid: depositing 300 euros on day 1, betting on some exotic third division, or staking 50 euros on your second bet. Practical example: day 1, deposit 50 euros, 2 singles in La Liga plus Champions with odds between 1.40 and 1.80, 3 euros or 4 euros each. 1 2-leg accumulator with 2 euros. Then verify the account and let it rest 7 to 10 days. If you use BetOven, wait through this warm-up phase and then activate it with high liquidity. Step 2. Simulate typical behaviors with timing. One of the most underrated factors to avoid limitations is the timing of your bets. If you're going to bet on an important match, like Real Madrid versus Barca at 2100 hours, don't just jump in at the last minute. Place a pre-match bet hours earlier, for example at 1700 or 1800 the same day. We've checked this many times. It reduces delays, lowers your risk profile, and extends the account's life. That said, avoid doing it too far in advance if it's a valuable but low liquidity market, so you don't fall into the kind of betting the bookmaker flags as professional before the market moves. If you're scheduling your bets with an AI like BetOven, remember that in the settings, you can adjust time slots in which the AI will operate, and thus randomize timings automatically. Or if you want more active management, you can set those base schedules and then add variations yourself by stopping and starting BetOven or adding occasional bets to break any pattern. And something important, also try to include bets during peak hours like Friday nights and weekends, blending in with the bulk of recreational bettors so your activity draws less attention. Step 3. Vary your stake wisely. We've seen this in hundreds of cases. Noise kills accounts. It's not just about warming up your account subtly, but keeping that low profile for as long as possible. When someone starts using the AI and does nothing but win, they must do it discreetly, or the bookmaker's alarms will go off. Remember that bookmakers work with machine learning algorithms that analyze thousands of behaviors and detect suspicious patterns. When your activity matches that of a profile they consider professional or high risk, you get flagged. And once you're on that radar, it's only a matter of time before you get limited. And what does not drawing attention mean? Basically, don't act like a pro, act like a recreational player. A recreational doesn't always stake the same amount, doesn't always focus on the same markets, doesn't win every week, and sometimes makes impulsive or illogical bets. That's why for BetOven users, something key is to vary stakes, not always use the same figure, and alternate markets. Even simple changes, like moving from 20 euros to 21 euros 15 cents, help break patterns and delay the moment your account goes under review. Better to define a stake unit, for example, 5 euros, and move between 60% and double depending on liquidity and your conviction. 3 euros, 5 euros, 6 euros, 8 euros, 4 euros, not 5. If you use BetOven, activate a stake deviation of between 10% and 25% to break the flat pattern and avoid decimals until you get your first limitation by maximum stake. And here's a pro tip: bet in round numbers. This helps you look like an average bettor. Instead of 47 euros and 63 cents or 19 euros and 87 cents, bet 10 euros, 20 euros, 50 euros. Those are the kind of figures recreational bettors use, and they help you stay under the radar. And to look even more like a recreational bettor, there's something very effective you can do. Step 4. Place cleaning bets. You need to look as much as possible like a recreational bettor. Even if you're winning like a professional, try to think how a recreational behaves and occasionally place bets that they would make, but a pro wouldn't. It could be a silly accumulator, 1 euro on your favorite team, or a low odds bet on a very popular match. Even small occasional casino bets can reinforce that casual player image. For example, you could bet on Champions, Premier League, NBA, Grand Slams, with small varied tickets 2 to 8 euros, no fixed stake and pre-match without too much anticipation. Suggested frequency, 2 to 3 cleaning bets per week. You could even add 2 to 3 low-stake casino sessions per month, and if you use BetOven, simply schedule activity windows and combine them with these manual or recreational bets. Step 5. Reduce your digital fingerprint. This is a trick that has been key for many BetOven users, protecting your browser's digital fingerprint. Bookmakers use fingerprinting to identify you even if you change your IP or use incognito mode. First of all, I recommend doing what I do. Run a free test like Cover Your Tracks, EFF, I'm Unique, or BrowserLeaks Canvas, WebGL. This way you'll know if your setup is common or unique, and therefore how compromised your privacy is, just by using a certain browser. To reduce that fingerprint, use clean browser profiles without unnecessary extensions. Enable anti-fingerprinting protections in Firefox or Brave. Clear cookies, cache, and other identifiers before registering. Keep language, resolution, and fonts on common values. Avoid using bookmaker mobile apps, especially on Android. This makes you more identifiable, gives them access to your data and email, and the more info they have on you, the easier it is to link your activity and limit you. Also avoid using VPNs, as many bookmakers block or limit accounts detected with this method. If you use BetOven's AI, you only really need to worry about this when registering your bookies. After that, always work with Automatic Proxy or Proxy app, the free Android app. If you want to know more about digital fingerprinting and bookmakers, I've left a video in the description where I go into much more detail. Step 6. Avoid low liquidity markets. Avoid focusing only on small or obscure markets. In our tests, repeatedly betting on minor leagues speeds up the detection of professional patterns. On the other hand, mixing your bets with very liquid events, champions, premier, national teams, lowers your risk profile. Of course, we know that the most value often lies in low liquidity markets, minor leagues, niche events. That's where you can find odds with more errors, but be careful with the balance. If you only play small or obscure markets, you'll be flagged as a professional profile much faster. So if at some point you're going to bet on a small market, combine it with a more liquid one to mask your activity and balance your profile. If you use BetOven's AI, remember you have a parameter available to filter market liquidity. The higher the parameter, the more liquid the events you'll capture or perform arbitrages on. Step 7. Control deposits and withdrawals. This point is much more important than it looks. A very common mistake we see in people starting with BetOven's AI, or who manage multiple accounts, is depositing too much at once and placing big bets from day one. For a bookmaker, that makes no sense in a recreational player. They expect you to start with small deposits, test the system, play a little randomly, and over time, your activity grows. If they see the opposite, alarms go off quickly. This user isn't recreational, let's limit him. That's why the strategic recommendation is clear. Make deposits gradually. For example, deposit 100 euros when opening the account, wait until they ask you for verification, and only then add another 200 euros. Over time you can increase, but always in steps and never all at once. This pattern is much more believable and reduces the risk of being flagged as a pro, and the same applies to withdrawals. Here's a detail hardly anyone tells you. In our experience, frequent withdrawals speed up limitations, especially if you do it right after a winning streak. Even if some experts or traders say it doesn't matter, we've seen thousands of accounts and we know it does make a difference. The safest approach is to withdraw in moderate amounts, preferably below 600 euros, and avoid cashing out automatically every time you win. Alternate. Sometimes reinvest, sometimes withdraw a small amount, sometimes let it run. This imitates recreational behavior much better and extends the account's lifespan. And now, as a final gift, I'm going to give you a 15-day strategic plan to start a new account and minimize limitations. This is the same plan we use with many professional bettors, and it has allowed them to extend their account's lifespans significantly before limitations arrive. Think of a new account like an engine being broken in. If you push it from minute 1, it seizes up. If you work it smartly from the start, you'll be able to exploit it for much longer. So here we go. Day 1. Make a moderate deposit between 50 euros and 100 euros. Verify the account and place 1 or 2 bets in very liquid markets such as Champions, Premier, NBA or Grand Slams with small stakes of 2 to 5 euros. Days 2 to 4. Place 1 bet per day in liquid markets. Add a small logical accumulator that makes sense. Also include a cleaning bet in popular competitions. Remember, the goal is to look as much as possible like a recreational bettor. Days 5 and 6. Add a small casino bet, could be slots, roulette or blackjack, to simulate a recreational profile. Also keep a sports bet in a liquid market. Days 7 and 8. Alternate between liquid sports bets and small accumulators. Add 1 or 2 extra cleaning bets. Days 9 to 11. Place 1 or 2 bets a day, but vary the amounts. 5 euros, 12 euros, 20 euros, 8 euros. Change the stake so no clear patterns appear. Days 12 to 14. Combine bets in liquid markets with 1 in a small market, but always camouflage it with another in a big market on the same day. Day 15. Check that your account is clean and free of risky patterns. From here, start working it more intensively, but insert cleaning bets every few days to keep it alive. Key tip: if you're not going to use the account immediately for high volume, after these 15 days, you can leave it sleeping until you need it. Before reactivating it, spend a couple of days placing cleaning bets to lower its profile and start with an advantage. In summary, there's no way to avoid limitations forever, but you can delay them a lot if you apply what I've just told you. This is proven information, tested with thousands of users, and it really works. In the description, I've left the video on digital fingerprinting and others, where we talk about arbitrage and strategies for professionals. If you're serious about maximizing your profits, this is the way.